Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. I have another Monday quarterback video for you. Going to play the entirety of this video, and then I'll go back and talk about things that are going on to better explain what's going on, and talk about things that I think that were done right and or done wrong. Without further ado, here we go.
Hello, I'm Captain Stacy Spell, Commanding Officer of Media Relations Division of the Los Angeles Police Department. This critical incident community briefing is intended to provide you with information about an officer-involved shooting that occurred in Central Division in the city of Los Angeles on October 8th, 2021 at around 6:45 p.m. You're about to see relevant video footage and learn about other evidence and police procedures related to the case so you can have a better understanding of what occurred based on what we know right now. The LAPD conducts very thorough use of force investigations, which typically require investigators to interview multiple witnesses, view numerous hours of video footage, and analyze a significant amount of forensic evidence. We're still at the very early stages of this investigation, which can often take up to a year to complete, and our understanding of the incident may change as this additional evidence is collected, analyzed, and reviewed. We also do not draw any conclusions about whether the officers acted consistent with our policies and the law until all the facts are known and the investigation is complete. A word of caution. The images and information you're about to see may be disturbing. When a police officer uses force to arrest a suspect or defend against an attack, it can be graphic and difficult to watch. In addition, there may be strong language used by those shown in the video. Viewer discretion is advised, especially for young children and sensitive viewers. On the afternoon of October 8th, 2021, at approximately 3:45 p.m., there was an assault with a deadly weapon in the area of 8th Street and Broadway by an individual later identified as 45-year-old Rudy Anderson. During that incident, Anderson placed a handgun to the victim's head and pulled the trigger. Fortunately, the handgun did not fire and Anderson fled the location. At approximately 4 p.m., there was an attempt carjacking by Anderson in the 600 block of South Spring Street. During this incident, Anderson approached a woman who was seated in her car, brandished a handgun, and attempted to gain entry. However, the victim was able to lock her door and Anderson fled the location. A few minutes later, at 4:05 p.m., there was an attempt murder committed by Anderson on the 700 block of South Broadway. During this incident, Anderson shot and injured a 14-year-old boy. Prior to shooting the 14-year-old boy, Anderson pointed his handgun, pulled the trigger, and fired multiple shots at the boy's uncle and mother. They were not struck by gunfire. Anderson then fled to the area of 7th and Spring Street, where he committed an attempt robbery. Anderson forcibly pushed the victim off a bicycle in an attempt to take it from the victim. Anderson brandished a handgun, but ultimately fled the location without the bicycle. Multiple 911 calls were generated by this point and assigned to Central Patrol units. Here are the 911 calls and corresponding radio broadcast.
Hello, LAPD Operator 229.
Yes, somebody got shot in my store.
Okay.
7
Paramedics, don't hang up.
Yeah.
Fire paramedics, operator 227, what's the address of the emergency?
7 South Broadway?
Yes, here's the president.
7 South Broadway?
Yes, somebody got shot in the store.
Okay, I'm going to get you some help. Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Central Unit Family Shooting occurred 7 South Broadway, 7 South Broadway, inside an unknown store. Victim down with a gunshot wound. Code 3 incident 3076 RD163. Stand by for additional.
Central Division patrol officers responded to the area and were flagged down by community members at the 500 block of South Main Street. These community members directed officers to Anderson. As officers were attempting to make contact, he fled into a residential apartment building nearby. While inside the apartment building, Anderson entered an apartment, took a woman hostage at gunpoint, and created a barricaded situation. Notifications were made to Metropolitan Division, Special Weapons and Tactics, SWAT, who responded and began formulating a plan to rescue the hostage. During the standoff, Anderson moved the hostage to a window overlooking the street and was observed pointing a handgun at her head. SWAT officers immediately forced entry into the apartment and an officer-involved shooting occurred.
He's got a gun to someone's head.
What?
Look, look.
Shut the fuck up.
Or a knife.
Oh, fuck. Oh, you're right. People are seeing it. Okay, he has a gun to someone. It is. That seems like... Oh, shit! Oh, shit!
Hey, baby, get down.
Oh, shit! Oh, shit!
Hey, baby, get down.
This incident was also captured on the officer's body-worn video cameras. Body-worn video cameras are used by most officers assigned to field duties. They are worn at chest level and capture a general perspective within line of sight from that angle. The angle of the camera prohibits viewers from seeing everything the officer saw and experienced. Upon activation, both audio and video will turn on. However, body-worn video cameras have a buffer of video without audio from the previous 2 minutes prior to activation. This feature is designed to capture incidents that occur suddenly, where an officer doesn't immediately activate the camera.
Finish clearing the building!
I got him.
Stay! Finish clearing! You must stay!
Come here. Here, come on. Come on. Here. Hostage.
Anderson was struck by gunfire and was pronounced dead at scene by Los Angeles Fire Department personnel. The hostage was rescued from the apartment by SWAT officers and was not injured during the incident. Anderson's gun was recovered at scene and booked as evidence. Rudy Anderson was a 45-year-old resident of Los Angeles. In the next several months, the LAPD will continue to investigate and analyze this incident. We will continue interviewing any new witnesses that may come forward and complete any forensic tests. After the investigation is complete, our Critical Incident Review Division will forward their findings to the Chief of Police, who will make his recommendation to the Civilian Board of Police Commissioners. The board will evaluate the evidence to determine whether the officer's tactics, drawing and exhibiting a weapon, and use of deadly force in this instance met the high standards expected of all LAPD officers. If you would like more information on how the LAPD investigates all officer-involved shootings and other serious uses of force, visit lapdonline.org, where you can find the LAPD's use of force policy and procedures. Thank you for taking the time to view this critical incident community briefing.
All right, let's get into it.
Is intended to provide you with information about an officer-involved shooting that occurred in Central Division in the city of Los Angeles. You're about to see you can have a better understanding of what occurred based on what we know right now. The LAPD conducts various analyses, we're still at the very understanding of the incident. We also do not draw any conclusion, and the investigation may be disturbing. When a police officer uses force, in addition, there may be strong language used by those shown in the video. Viewer discretion is advised, especially for young children and sensitive viewers.
For sensitive viewers. So that's, obviously, playing these videos and watching them, I see that a lot. And with the way society is, eventually, I have a feeling that someone, somewhere along the way, is going to start saying that calling people sensitive viewers is offensive to them, and saying that they're a sensitive viewer is going to hurt them because they're sensitive about it. So I don't know, for some odd reason, I see the wording for that kind of stuff changing. Anyway, so the Rudy Anderson guy, they didn't mention anything about his criminal history or anything like that, but I would suspect that he most likely has some type of background. I highly doubt that this dude just at one random moment in his life decided, hey, you know what, I'm going to go out and do some crazy shit. He has probably done a lot of things in the past, and this was, the thing that came to an end. No telling what he's done with that gun prior to this day. He's probably robbed other people. They just never had a chance to catch him. When you think about all the shit that he did in just this day, with all the different incidents all across this little section of town, that's a lot of stuff. And for them to, finally catch up to him after the fourth incident or something like that, fifth incident, then he's probably done stuff days prior and just never got caught for it. And aside from, just this little spell stuff, I'm sure that there's other stuff that he's done in the past. Highly doubt that, he's a stand-up character. So he gains entry into this apartment building. Some apartment buildings have better, quote-unquote, entry control for their complex or for their building. Some of them will have a keyed entry at the front to be able to keep out transient kind of people. And I'm surprised he was able to get in past that front door area, because a lot of places in these big cities have already, they figured out, hey, the homeless people, they're persistent. Police don't do much with them, and they spend the money to have their front doors locked at all times, and only people get in are residents. So I'm actually kind of surprised he got in. He just opens the door and walks on in there.
Led into a residential apartment building nearby.
Whether it's a key card kind of entry or like a key fob kind of entry where you come up to the door and you swipe something over a sensor and it unlocks it, where you got to type in a code. They're really a necessity for apartments in urban areas, just to keep the tenants safe and to keep out unwanted people from loitering in the foyer and harassing people for change and stuff like that. Yeah, sure, you can always call the police to come have that person removed, but the response times are pretty low, and that person can come in there once or twice throughout the day and harass people as they're in there, and then be gone before the police get there, and then be down the road, and then because there's thousands of people within this small area, the police may not catch them. This apartment complex, if they have, for whatever reason, chosen not to put anything on that front door, then I think the woman who lives there in that apartment, I believe that she would have a pretty good chance of having a decent civil suit against the property for not having adequate security measures in place.
Building. Anderson entered an apartment, took a woman hostage at gunpoint, and created a barricaded situation. Notifications were made to Metropolitan Division to rescue the hostage. Observed pointing a handgun at her head.
He's got a gun to.
Now, how he made entry into her apartment, I don't know. Is it possible she had her door unlocked? Yeah, that's possible. I don't know why you would, in the middle of Los Angeles, ever decide to want to leave your door unlocked, but hey, it's a possibility. It's also possible he knocked on the door and she just came and opened it. It's possible that she was going to her apartment and unlocking the door when he approached her, and then took her by force and went inside the house or the apartment. If it was the issue of him just walking in because it was unlocked, well, then that's a problem. You should never, ever just assume that, things are going to be safe. You're 3-4 stories up, likelihood of someone getting up there is pretty low. It's a safe neighborhood, whatever. You should never use those excuses for complacency to keep your front door unlocked or any door unlocked. All your exterior doors need to be secured at all times. You just never know when a random person is going to come try that door. There was a really neat documentary on Netflix earlier this year, 2021, that detailed the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez. And the thing I took away from it, and which I'd known this, beforehand from reading about the guy, but I just kind of hope that people who watched it kind of took this same thing away, and it made them really think. Pretty much all the victims he killed, and it sounds bad to say this, but they got themselves killed by leaving their doors unlocked or leaving their windows unlocked. He was a criminal of opportunity. He was going by houses and trying the windows and trying the doors, and if, one was open, he went in. So there are people like that right now out and about. There are people who, in the middle of the night, go out and they try car doors. They call it car hopping. and they go from car to car. They try the door. If it's unlocked, boom, success for them. They get in there and rummage around for stuff. Same for houses. There are people who go around during the day, even, who try doors on houses, and if it's open, they're in. There's been several occasions where in a part of town where there's a lot of partying and drinking, or even apartment complexes, a very intoxicated person come into a house and then opening the door and walking on in. And they're so freaking drunk, they have no idea where they're at. That is an issue to me. People leaving their doors unlocked. You should never leave your door unlocked, because you just never know when some random person, whether they have ill intent or not, is going to come through that door. So I always advocate that as soon as you walk in through that front door, or your back door, or your side door, whatever door that you use to enter your home, anytime you come through it, you automatically lock it behind you. Even if you know you're going to have to go outside a little bit later to get groceries or something like that, you should get in that habit of always locking that door behind you. There are electronic locks that I would highly recommend people get, that once you unlock it, and then you once you unlock it, after several seconds, the locking device will rearm and the bolt will go into the locked position. And I think that's a pretty good product right there. So that way, if you're a forgetful kind of person, at least that device is going to cause the bolt to lock, and you'll have to manually unlock that lock to get the door open.
Someone's head.
What?
Look.
Shut the fuck up.
Or a knife.
If this was a case of her, excuse me, if this was a case of her going to the door after he knocked on it, then you should never open your door to unscheduled visitors. If you're not expecting a visitor for the day and someone's knocking on that door, you shouldn't open that door. There's no law that says you have to open a door for someone. There's no law that says it's against the law to be rude by forcing a person to talk to you through a closed door. It is safer to keep that door closed and locked than to open it, because once you open that door, it is easy for someone to catch you by surprise and rush that door open on you. You keep it in a locked position, it's harder for them to get through that door. If you have a gun in the household, there is no problem with you going to talk to someone who's on the other side of that door with your gun at your side or your gun out and behind your leg. If you decide to open the door and you crack it, if you decide to open the door and crack it, you need to position your foot in such a way that it acts as a door stopper. And if you have a door chain or something like that, go ahead and utilize it, but also use your foot as an added door stop. That way, if they do try to shoulder the door, they're going to have the chain to fight through and your foot as a door stop. And with your gun already being out and behind your leg, it's simple to just bring it up and get it into play. Again, there's no law that says you have to answer the door and open it for someone. There's nothing against the law that says you can be rude and force them to talk to you through a closed door.
Oh, fuck. Oh, you're right. People see me. Okay, he has a gun
So I'm guessing what's going on at this point is they are trying to breach a door, and then they're tossing in flashbangs at this point. They've obviously already made entry, and now they're starting to flood in. These people up here. Let's watch this again. This cat across.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
Hey, baby, get down, get down, get down, get down, get down, get down. Get down, get down, get down.
Can't imagine what the people who live above them are thinking,
Video
or below
cameras.
them.
Body-worn video cameras are used by most officers assigned to field duties. They are worn at chest its viewers from and video previous 2 minutes. Where
So it looks like they had a hell of a time getting through this door. I mean, look at this door frame right here. I mean, this shit is wrecked. So I'd say the bangs that you saw going off were them that entire time trying to gain entry through this door. Yeah. Even going in, there's some obstructions in the way. Not only does this guy fall, but the other guy falls as well.
Finish clearing the building.
I got him. I got him.
Stay. Finish clearing. You guys stay.
And it even looks like maybe this guy tried to barricade the door. And, you know, there's even a, god dang, all these doors are fucked up. Shit, I mean, these door frames are wrecked. So maybe they made entry into these different apartments, they just didn't know which one to get into until they found the right one. But, damn. It's an interesting apartment, to say the least. That poor woman. Alright, now pay attention to the bat over here. Again, it looks like he has tried to barricade himself in and has thrown all sorts of shit over here.
Come here.
Of course, old girl's freaking out. It's an interesting art piece right there. I like the little LED strips here at the bottom. I like that accent lighting. That's pretty cool.
Come here. here, come on. Come on. Here. Here, come on. Come on.
So she is hysterical about her cat. And then this dude,
Here. Here, come on.
some of the visuals here are just odd as hell. So here they are, they just fucking shot this dude. And of course she's screaming about her damn cat. And this dude's walking in with paperwork like he's here to talk to someone about their fucking extended car warranty. Like, what the hell is this shit? and then the interior got like this all white painted dirt bike.
Here, come on.
Then a car rim with something on top of it, some big American flag themed oversized hoodie looking thing on the wall.
Come on. Here. Hostage, hostage.
Anderson was struck.
Come on. Come here. Here, come on. Come on. Here. Hostage.
Anderson was struck by gunfire and was pronounced dead at scene by Los Angeles Fire Department.
Yeah, I would say multiple rifle rounds at that close range, yeah, you're going to be dead. I've talked about before about pistols versus rifle, and, they didn't fire that many rounds, but typically people don't get up and walk away after being hit with a rifle. There have been people that have, but typically you just don't see that. And the amount of rounds that they fired with rifle, you could see someone take the same amount of rounds with pistol and still be able to walk away from it. So rifles are obviously a better choice, and it being a SWAT team, of course, they're always going to be having rifles for the most part. They just get that more specialized weapons training, and with that more specialized training, and I wouldn't even say it's specialized. It's not like it's like rocket science kind of shit. They just get more focused training on fighting with guns. And when you get down to the nitty-gritty of it, you'll find out that rifles dominate. They win fights. So it's a no-brainer that, SWAT will obviously choose a rifle over a pistol, because when you take more focused firearms training, the people who are doing these classes come from a well-versed background, and they know that rifles are better than pistols. So they all rocking rifles, and it just took a few rounds and dude's out of the fight forever. So this is a pretty self-explanatory video in terms of, them being justified or not. Obviously, dude was trying to kill people, took a hostage. He brought this shit upon himself when the police had to come in there and shoot his ass. So I don't see anything wrong with the use of force or anything like that from the police. At least from the SWAT team side, I think they did, what they're supposed to do. Now, when he's chased into the apartment, we then see police come in. And I think that they could have very easily continued to pursue this guy. Because, they were right on him. As soon as you see his head clear the thing, boom, they're in. I think it would have been very easy for the patrol guys to continue moving forward and make contact with this guy. Probably still would have ended up in a gunfight, but at least that poor woman upstairs would not have been taken hostage and then put through this life-changing ordeal where she's probably going to have some some anxiety issues. If she already don't have anxiety kind of issues, she's definitely going to have them now. But all these officers responding to a gun call, all of them have pistols. Like, you know you're going to a call where a dude has fucking shot someone. Why the hell are you getting out with a pistol? That, we continue to see it all the time, and it's just freaking annoying. This first guy here, he just don't seem to know what he wants to do. Oh, this guy right here. So he's got a gun, he holsters, he grabs something else, messing around with his belt, doesn't know what he's wanting, and then he leaves. So don't know where he goes. Yeah. So I think that, I mean, I hate to say it, and you know, down anti-police, which you know I'm not, but I think these guys kind of, they didn't do what they're supposed to do. They didn't chase the bad guy. They kind of dropped the. They just dropped it on this one. You know, they could have continued on chasing this guy, but they didn't, and they backed away, and this guy was able to take a hostage. So the only negative thing I got to say is these guys not chasing them down like they could have. They had them right in view. You know, at this point, I would even argue that the fact that he has shot someone and he's still got that damn gun in his hand, let's back it up, or on him, that, but at this point, if he's got a beat on him, I would say in this moment right here, he would be justified in using deadly physical force. Shoot that dude in the back, drop him, and he can no longer be a threat to anyone inside this building. There have been other videos that I've done before where the police have essentially done just that. A person was about to go into a building with people in it, and they did not allow that person to go in that building with people in it, and they shot their ass outside, popped them right in the back. And people always seem to have some kind of problem with people being shot in the back. I think it's like this taboo thing that you're not supposed to do. I have absolutely no problem with it whatsoever. If it's a good shoot situation, you know what? It is what it is. It may be more tactically sound for them to be able to shoot the guy in the back versus trying to get him into a prolonged gun battle. And sometimes, you know, just the mechanics of the situations and everything, sometimes it just ends up being like that, where the only way you can shoot into a person is from their back. But in this kind of scenario right here, there's distance between them. I would have no problem whatsoever if they went ahead and shot him as he's trying to go deeper into this apartment and potentially harm people and take them hostage, which he ends up taking someone hostage. So again, the only negative thing I got to say about this is the fact that they didn't really do anything. They didn't go after him like they should have, and they didn't get out with rifles. You know, they're going to a call involving a man with a gun who shot someone, and none of them have a freaking rifle. That is a problem in my eyes. Other than that, the rest of the video, you know what? They went in there and they did work. That's doing work right there. This guy's a threat. You deal with threats appropriately, and if it takes, you know, point blank, multiple rifle rounds into this dude, then so be it. Point blank, multiple rifle rounds into him. Stop the threat. If you like what you hear and see, go ahead and give me a like and a share. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more Monday quarterback videos. Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching.